Welcome back to the reboot. TNC at the movies. We're back, baby.
That's right, guys. What's up?
All right, today we are going to review one movie, as you can see. But first, we're going to ask that you like, comment, share, and if you really like it, subscribe.
Please and thank you.
Also, we would like to let everyone know that this episode and our channel is sponsored by Music Depot and their Reverb store. So link will be in the comments. Make sure you go to Music Depot on Reverb and buy some guitar strings, man.
Yeah, man. Play it up.
Play it up. Buy some guitar strings. Buy some guitars. They got Schecter. They got Tama. They got Shure microphones, as you can see right here. Anyway, Tiny, what are we reviewing today?
Today, Chewy, we are reviewing Sonic 3.
I gotta tell you, I'm excited. As you can see, Knuckles is actually one of my favorite characters of all time, and in video game media.
Right.
So much so that Knuckles has decided to also join us because he heard what we're doing and he wanted to be a part of it. And we're also trying to get that cuteness factor for the additional demographics.
Welcome aboard, Nux. Heck yeah.
All right. So let's get started.
Sonic 3 was directed by Jeff Fowler, starring Ben Schwartz. You got Colleen O'Shaughnessy, reprising her role as Tails. You got Jim Carrey, Idris Elba, James Marsden, Tika Sumpter, Adam Pally, Kristen Ritter, who's new to the cast, and Lee Majdoub. Probably butcher that. Majdoub? Sounds actually a lot better. But yeah, that's the cast. If there's anybody I missed, I do apologize. Yeah, let's get into it.
All right. Just to quickly summarize the plot, we basically have, I don't want to call it the usual, but in these kinds of movies, we always have where we reintroduce the new character, and I gotta tell you, they Green Rangered us in this movie, where they introduced a new character, and he's portrayed sort of as the villain, maybe the antagonist, because Shadow, we're introduced to Shadow right away, and he reawakens, and we don't know it just yet, but he is pissed, and he just starts to wreck shop. And then you have Team Sonic, who, of course, they come through, and they try to stop him, and they are immediately outmatched.
Immediately.
Right? So now we have this nice setup where we have who we think is the antagonist, and now we get to join forces with the bad guy from the previous movie. And
Dr. Robotnik.
Yeah, and you know what? And once that is set up, we're literally off to the races. And it's just basically, it's either exciting or hilarious from that point forth.
Heck yeah.
So let's start talking about the, first I'd like to talk about overall the cinematography, Tiny. What do you feel?
Oh, whether it was digital or not, I think it was great. Fantastic. How do I say this? There's depth to everything, so you felt like you were there. The underwater stuff, the in space stuff, all of it, very good stuff.
I agree. I really like the way that they took us to all different places, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna assume it was intended, but it kind of made me feel like I was playing, Sonic, one of the Sonic games where you start in the hills, then you're in a power plant for some reason, and then you're in some cave for some reason, and then then you kind of start working your way up, then you're in a plane, then you end up in space. So I like the way that they just kind of took you into all these random places, and the whole thing of disbelief was just out the window, because I was like, how did they get to all these places so fast?
Yeah.
At one point they did end up in Tokyo, I believe it was.
Yeah.
And so I really like the way that they just had a lot of different places, and they seemed to do it in a way where nothing seemed to be out of place necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
I think and sometimes it's hard when you're mixing humans and digital characters that aren't actually there. But I think they did a good job.
Oh, for sure.
How do you feel about the characters and overall? And do you have a favorite one?
Characters overall? Well, I've noticed that in this one, the human sidekicks, Tom and Maddie, both take a backseat in this one. I think a lot more. Even their friend Wade also took a backseat. And I think that's due to wanting to give more time to everyone else. I mean, you already have 3 in Team Sonic, and then you're adding Shadow, and then you have all these other, you have the main antagonist portrayed by Kristen Ritter, Director Rockwell, Sam Rockwell, by Director Rockwell. So yeah. Favorite character? Shoot. Out of all of them, I gotta say I really did enjoy the portrayal of Shadow by Keanu Reeves, because I gotta be honest, I don't know much lore about Sonic and everything, but I gotta say Tails is pretty cool. Favorite, I think, overall out of everyone, but for you it's Knuckles, I see. But yeah, good characters.
Okay. Now, Tiny, I'm gonna
Sure.
sort of bring up a point which I think kind of is the evolution of the movies, and I kind of want to get your thoughts.
Okay.
Because as we're now in movie 3, and
Correct.
it seems just like sort of in the games where they bring up a new game, they try to introduce a new character.
Correct.
Right, so
Yeah, that's right.
third movie they've introduced at this point multiple characters. So now we have Knuckles, and we have Tails, and we of course get introduced to Shadow, and I think they sort of phased out the human characters.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in the first movie it was absolutely necessary, because I don't think they knew how to write a Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Right.
But I think now that they added more characters, I think where before it was the safe thing was to have the humans there just to, anchor us to what's happening.
Yeah, and move the plot along.
I think now that's not necessary.
Right.
Where
right.
I think
see
now
what you're
the actual characters themselves from the franchise are the ones that are actually, pushing the movie through.
Yeah, no, for sure. They no longer need that voyage onward. I don't know if you noticed, Chewie, but in this one, piggybacking off everything, you notice how even Agent Stone was somewhat removed from the story to give everyone around the third act all the video game characters their shine. So it was no longer really about the humans. I mean, sure, the humans were involved in their own little side story, but it's basically video game plot now. You could have told me this was Sonic 7, whatever, Chaos, whatever the heck, right? And I would have believed you.
Yeah, I mean, we might as well have been in that big giant. I don't think they could have done it, but I believe it was Sonic 3 where Robotnik or Eggman makes the big giant Death Star type thing where it has his mustache and two eyes.
Yes.
I mean, they might as well have done that.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, but for copyright reasons, it's not.
Yeah, that's awesome. That would have been cool. But no, for sure.
And so I'm glad actually you brought that up, because I'm gonna also piggyback on what you said, because while Knuckles in fact is my favorite character in the entire franchise, in this particular movie, I gotta say I very much appreciate Agent Stone.
Yes. 100% agree.
He was just absolutely hilarious, and I think he was a nice I will call it a comic relief, because he was hilarious, but he was definitely he was a plot device that was hidden behind comedy. and and he was kick ass. I mean, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, no, for sure, because he kept Robotnik alive, and I mean, not in good health, but health enough. He got him his costume, his new costume. Everything basically. He moved the plot along for sure, but he was also the bow tie, or the last part of your everything. He was the cherry on top to this movie, if you catch my drift.
I felt he also brought the power of friendship.
To
the movie. I thought,
hard,
like,
dude. Talk about loving your best friend, man. Yeah. Shout out Cheddar.
Yeah.
Shout out
right.
Yacy Courts.
Right. So, and it's one of those like when Sly giving it away when Robotnik realized that he was his best friend too. That
shout out on Angelica Juarez.
Hey, tearjerkers around. Tearjerkers around. But you know what? Specifically, let me ask you, how do you feel about Keanu Reeves and his role in this movie?
For someone who really only played Sonic through the original Sega Genesis, Shadow is really new to me. I didn't read the comics. I don't think I caught much of the Jaleel White.
Yeah.
Cartoon. I'm pretty sure I caught a few episodes here and there on a Saturday morning, but Shadow. If I had to assume, he's perfect, because if he's supposed to give off brooding and tough guy, yet also very vulnerable, he gives that. So great, honestly.
No, I agree. He had this weird and yet amazing and also uncanny way of. I don't know how is it that it's just that, I have to start so many times, because first, I want to say that Idris Elba is always the best actor in every movie that he's in.
Star Trek 3.
Every movie that he's in, Idris Elba, he will act the crap out of whatever role you give him. If you were to tell him, hey, I need you to act like a bad actor, he will immediately make you believe that he can't act. But he's acting. Right.
Suicide Squad.
With that being said, Keanu Reeves somehow managed to give off multiple emotions with pretty much a monotone voice. I mean, he was dark, but yet, like I said, he Green Rangered us.
Yes.
Like, you see him, he's the bad guy because he's trying to, beat up the good guys. But you're like, he's kind of cool, man.
Thank you.
And that's what Keanu brought to this movie.
I hope there's a future meme where it's footage of obviously Keanu, but Shadow kicking butt. And it's just the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers music in the background. And I'm talking about the one you're talking about, the Green Ranger. Go, Green Ranger, go. That one. Just hope it happens.
All right. So I also want to talk about two things because they also kind of have to do with each other. And the first one is we're going to also talk about Jim Carrey. Because we sort of spoiled it earlier, but he is in fact playing two characters. He is playing himself and his grandpapa, I believe, who I guess the whole weird thing skipped a generation. I don't know. We never saw what's in between, but they're just identical. And
what's up?
There's a lot of great acting in this movie, and I gotta tell you. Since the Parent Trap have I not seen this much chemistry between two characters who are the same one. And I think this is definitely one of those times where like he was excellent. I think that, it's very hard to have the same antagonist in, for 3 straight movies. Where I think this one they changed enough where, he was different, you felt bad for him, then he was the good guy, and then he wasn't, and then, betrayal. And it just,
roller coaster.
I think it did enough where it made it different. It made it different in a good way where I enjoyed it. I thought that, at first I was a little like, how are they gonna make it with just 2? How's he gonna play 2? And at first I was like, I don't know. I think this might not work. And then it just did. It just did. Which actually, leads to, I want to mention my favorite scene in the entire movie is just obviously the dance scene, because you get a dance scene from Jim Carrey in these things, and in this time you got a twofer and a laser show.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
It was in fact like he did a twin Parent Trap, personal dance of Pink Floyd's The Wall laser show. Like it was just,
and his montage when he's just hanging out and like getting to, I guess, relive that childhood he didn't have with him. That was pretty cool.
right. And then again, and Angel Stone was there in the background, which again it just made you feel. It just made you feel, and I thought that was one of my favorite parts of this movie. I very much enjoyed it.
Totally.
And Tony, what was your favorite scene?
Honestly, besides the Akira slide, I would have to say is a comedic one. It was the reveal of Eggman.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just let himself go, slapping his tummy. I mean, and then just screaming all girly like when he gets caught. It was just chef's kiss.
I don't know. I always felt like it was inspired by was it the end scene over at Dodgeball with Ben Stiller?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, was he is he chowing down chicken or eating a tub of ice cream?
I think it was a bucket of chicken.
Yeah.
I want to say it was either that or a tub of ice cream.
Oh man, bless movies with stings at the end. That had to have been that and any time they were in space. So like, both them going Super Saiyan and everything, and just beautiful. Anything with space and Jim Carrey basically.
All right. Any last thoughts before we get some great action?
Wowzers! Last thoughts. All right. Overall, pretty. And when I say easy to follow, it's not a dig on the movie. Just the movie was easy to follow, digestible plot. Nobody. I don't think anyone was in the movie that didn't know what they were in for. So I think everyone played it how they had to play it, and it was a fun film, hilarious. I feel like me and you were like the loudest ones in the theater, but we were having a good time, man. I think that's why people go to the theaters, right? To have a good time and really enjoy themselves, let themselves go. I think out of all of them, out of the 3, I enjoyed this one the most because it gave me the feeling of what 2 gave me plus. So the action I felt was a lot more. You get 2 versions of Shadow. You get Shadow, and then in his golden form you get Golden Shadow, right? You have Sonic, you get Golden Sonic. And then you also get how do I say this? Fun time between all the characters. So like when they end up going to the spot in Japan or wherever, and they're having fun eating food and just hanging out, that's pretty cool. Like just you could have gave me most of that, and I would have still been enjoying myself. But no, for sure, I definitely enjoyed this one the most out of all of them. But am I giving this a grade already? Or do you want to?
Go ahead and give us our grade, and then I'll give you my last thoughts.
Okay. God, I was teeter-tottering earlier, and now I'm, actually talking about it. I think, and I don't remember what I graded the other one, so I'm gonna be honest. I'm just gonna go A minus. But good film. Yeah. Heck yeah.
Nice. Well, okay. So my last thoughts are basically, as you can tell, I very much enjoyed the movie, and I do. Okay. Never mind. Random last thought.
Yo.
I just want to point out that I really enjoyed. Was it Eggman's crab fortress?
Oh man, almost purchased that today.
So
almost purchased.
He has
that
this
today,
giant crab fortress that, for some reason, spoiler, gets destroyed by water at the end, but it's an aquatic crab fortress.
It's awesome, dude.
But man, that thing was okay. It was just cool, and if nothing else, you gotta at least put it on in the background so you can just check out this crab. Anyway,
I hope it makes a comeback, and I hope it's just Agent Stone. That's it. Agent Stone comeback in a brand new 2.0 crab. Freaking Metal Gear.
he takes over the mantra. And okay, yeah. Well, other than that, I enjoyed the movie, and I think the reason I enjoyed this movie more than all the other movies is specifically because we had basically all Sonic, universe characters that were involved, and the humans were literally just, was just plot devices. Otherwise, the movie was very easy to follow, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think part of that was to make sure that that the younger crowd was able to keep up.
Yeah, for sure.
And because of that, I think that's the reason why, I guess I can only describe it as a series of nothing but, just ex machinas, just one after another. Because a lot of times we have a problem, but now we're going to solve it like this. And which I thought was a great way to move the plot along because, it's a video game movie. You just want more action. I want Knuckles to smash things.
Yeah.
And so, I thought the plot was done very well. I know, right? Got this at the movie theater.
Heck yeah.
And so I'm gonna grade this movie an honest A+.
Nice.
And I think the reason why it's not an S, I think it's just because it was just a lot of ex machinas, which isn't a bad thing, but it was just okay. And nothing is too easy, but it just kept moving along. And I think an A+ is a goddamn good grade because I gotta tell you,
what's up?
I enjoyed the crap out of this movie.
Heck yeah.
All right, Tiny, and just like
the
way that if you saw a good movie or a bad movie is if you saw an end credit scene at the end.
That's right. Sting, baby.
And I gotta tell you,
what's that?
But I don't gotta tell you. I gotta tell you, this definitely had one, and I want to get your thoughts on it.
Honest thoughts. I did not know what to expect. I totally forgot that you can keep adding characters. So to see the introduction of Amy into the cinematic franchise, right? And what was that? Metal Sonic, yeah. Metal Sonic, and so again, wow. I don't know. There's probably a lot more people, you can keep adding, but I think it's a clever way of pushing the story forward, right? You're not stalemating, you're not doing... I mean, I wouldn't have minded if you had introduced Knuckles, right, in the first one, and then had it been about every, and by, have a bout or a fight or war or whatever with Sonic for 3 movies, and that would have been sick. But they didn't need to do that, right? So you do Sonic, then you introduce Tails and Knuckles in the second one, right? And then you tease Shadow, you get him in the third one. I don't even remember them. Oh wait, of course, because the tease of that one would have been this one, right? Amy, yeah. So good on them, you know, to be able to do that kind of stuff. What did you think of the end credits?
Well, you know, at first I was expecting something, right? Because I expect that in every movie, to be honest. But in this one in particular, I was waiting to see what we were, you know, what was gonna happen, what we're gonna see, you know, what was it gonna allude to in the next movie.
Right.
And I was surprised. I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah,
because, you know, not that I was expecting Metal Sonic, but as soon as I saw him, I got immediately excited, right? Because I know him. He's from the Sonic CD game, and he was made by Eggman, and he is supposed to be, you know, pretty much like Sonic in every way, just ruthless, because he's a machine. And right, so I was like, and then I was like, wait, but who made him? Who made him? Is there some kind of contingency plan? Is there some new baddie that we're gonna get introduced to, right? Or is Metal Sonic acting alone in a group, right? And I was like, wait, there's more than one? I was like, wait, what does that mean? I was like, do they have one mind, or they all have, you know, like, or they all just programmed? I had so many questions, and I was very excited. I'm not yet sure how I feel about, I guess, whether Metal Sonic is gonna be, you know, because to me it was always just one Metal Sonic, but now there's multiple, right? So
right.
I just want to see how is it that they're gonna,
how it's gonna
play out
right,
with there being multiple, you know, like, are they just acting on their own free will, sort of, with directives, or are they just programmed and they're just, you know, like Terminator, they're just gonna keep going?
Are they like a bunch of mousers, you know?
Yeah.
Just trying to take out the Ninja Turtles, right? I get it. Yeah, drones, I guess, right?
Yeah. But like I said, like, it definitely left me excited, and
for sure.
Hopefully, best case scenario is that, you know, a few months down the line, I sort of kind of forget about this until, you know, a couple of years, I get the trailer for the next one, and then I'll get all excited again. Because if I keep thinking about it, it's just gonna be painful, because it's definitely something that I'm gonna be looking forward to.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Don't even know what game he's from. I just know of him.
Yeah. And I think that's it. And just like always, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. And again, we are brought to you by Music Depot over on the Reverb store. Link is below. And we're gonna save this just at the end, because again, if you really, 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 really like it, what we do here today, because we are trying this new sets, we're trying to get everything back together. And with consistency comes perhaps some coffee.
That's right.
buymeacoffee.com/TNC at the movies. That's how we're gonna end it. Join us for the next one.
Thank you, Miss Loomis, for the coffee.